Hi YouTube, my name's Haley. I'm a bookish travel gal based here in New York City. And I've had an Instagram where I've been sharing all the bookstores I've traveled to, both in New York and beyond, for about 2 years now. But I've been realizing that some of these city visits and different bookish adventures would be way more easy to share in a long form video content. So I'm hoping that this channel will be a great way where I can share even more details and even more bookish adventures. It's my first video. It's the first week of the new year. I figured we would start it reflecting on some of my favorite things from 2025. So for this video, I'm going to be talking about all of my 5-star reads and also all of my 5-star bookstores that I've visited on my travels this year. I'm the kind of gal that anytime I'm going to a new place, I will be going to a bookstore. They are my favorite place to be, and I love browsing. I love reading in bookstores. I love everything about them. These 5 bookstores I think are 5 stars, and I have either visited time and again or want to go back and visit them someday. So I have family in Southern California, and I've been to LA a couple times this past year. Of course, I'm visiting bookstores. My first bookstore on the list is The Last Bookstore, which is probably no surprise. It is one of the most famous bookstores in California, and it's also one of the largest, if not the largest, I think it's the largest new and used bookstore in California. Honestly, an experience, and it is a must visit when you're in downtown LA. While you're in LA, a bookstore that is a little bit lesser known but still a 5-star bookstore in my mind and a place that I love to go back to is Village Well Books and Coffee. I think this is such a cozy and perfect bookstore. There is a coffee shop obviously there with a ton of tables so you can grab a drink, you can work, you can read and visit. They also have a huge selection, and I love that every section had like a drink associated with it and they put it up around the store, which I found was really fun. Then you can kind of see if your beverage matched the kind of reading that you were into. They also had lists of recommendations, and it was just so cozy. It's also right around the corner from the Rip Bodice LA, which is a 5-star bookstore, but I will put that in another list of romance bookstores, so it'll be on another list, but they are right next to each other and you can visit both of them in an afternoon. I visited Orlando twice this last year. I love the bookstores there and the weather, obviously, so it's always a really fun time to visit there. My 5-star bookstore was so tough to pick. I could only pick 10 for this list, so my 5-star bookstore for Orlando is going to be Authentic Books, which started as a book box and a book experience, but now has a physical retail location. What I love about this bookstore is you get to pick your own book experience. So you pick a book box, you pick a book, and then you get to pick, I think 5 different items, 3 to 5 items for one set price. So I got some socks, I got some linen spray. It's all things that are experiences for your senses while you read the book. And I just think that is such a fun experience that while you're in Orlando, you can pick out either for yourself or for others a gift, personalized, involving books and all your senses. So that will be my 5-star pick for Orlando. This past year, we did a trip to Europe. Specifically, we went to Athens and Cyprus. It was our first time in Athens, and it was so hot, but it was so much fun seeing all the history and, of course, all the bookstores. There's 2 bookstores that make this top 10 5-star list for 2025 in Athens, and they are both book cafes. Little Tree Books and Coffee is such a cute little cafe. It is maybe across the street from the Parthenon, so if you're doing the touristy thing for the day, you can head over to this coffee shop bookstore right after. I had a delicious little breakfast and a coffee. They have a small but curated selection of books, and I was able to sit at a table, do some reading. We actually went around the corner and had one of the best lasagnas. It's a Greek lasagna. I'm going to put it here. One of the best lasagnas of our life around the corner from that. I'll put the restaurant there too. But anyways, the book cafe, so cozy and cute, and had a really great breakfast brunch menu to check out. The next one on the list is Book Bar by Cactus. And this book bar is a little bit more in like the centralized downtown area of Athens, so it's a bit easier to visit when you're visiting the city proper. And this one is a different vibe, but still 5 stars. I got a Freddo cappuccino there, which, if you do not know, it is the most delicious caffeinated beverage. It's like whipped coffee and whipped milk, and it's so good. I'll put it here so you can see. And this book bar, it's very classy. There's 2 levels. There's good Wi-Fi, and you're able to sit. I was reading, people were working. It has a small selection as well, but it's a really great place to just sit, relax, read a little bit, and get some coffee when you're out in the hustle and bustle of the city. Also, last year I did a girls trip to Miami. I tried to do a girls trip with some of my friends around the country, and this year we did Miami. It was so much fun, and of course we went to some bookstores while we were there. There's not that many to pick from, but there is one that would be a 5-star read in my opinion, or 5-star bookstore in my opinion, and that is Books and Books. And that is kind of the preeminent bookstore in Miami. They've been open for years, I think since the 80s. Gorgeous inside. There's a cafe there, of course. I love to eat while I read. There, it's always busy. They have a patio when it's not too hot out, and they have just a huge selection of books, and you definitely have to visit when you're in Miami. The next place on my list to have a 5-star bookstore is San Diego. I have a grandma that lives there, and I try to visit her as often as I can, being on the other side of the country. And when I do, we do love to go shopping, and we do love to go to bookstores. And my 5-star bookstore in San Diego is, of course, Verbatim Books. This is another iconic bookstore in Southern California, and it's been around for decades, years, and you can find literally anything at this bookstore. It's beautiful. They have a gorgeous mural on the outside. It's a great area to go, and it's a 5-star bookstore for sure. Our next 5-star bookstore is a romance bookstore. I tried not to overload the list this year with romance bookstores, but this one just had to make it. In Toronto, Hopeless Romantic. They just opened in that space. I think it was like maybe 2 weeks before I visited, so it's only been a couple months, and it is just a gorgeous space. They have a secret room, they have events, and it's all, of course, bubblegum pink. The last city on my list to have 5-star bookstores, there's 2 in this one as well, is Washington, D.C. I have some friends that live there, and it's such a quick and easy train ride down, so of course we had to visit. And both of these, of course, are book cafes. I'm sure you're sensing a theme. The first one is Busboys and Poets. They have several locations. We just went to one, but it's a full restaurant and bookstore. The one we went to, they had a huge menu, like multiple pages of food, and of course the specialty lattes. I think mine was ube. It was delicious. And then you can do some book browsing while you're there. And the other place that is a 5-star bookstore in my opinion is Kramer's. It is a beautiful bookstore and cafe, and while you're there you can get their afternoon tea. I split it with a friend, and it was so much fun trying all the different pastries, reading, chatting, and it was such a fun experience. And that is my top 10 5-star bookstores of the year. I hope that you get to visit them soon. If you are traveling or near one of those bookstores, you have to check them out. They are all such great experiences, and all of them are part of trips that I did in the last year, like I mentioned. And I recorded pretty much all of them. So if there's a city that I mentioned that you'd like to see me edit, put on YouTube, put on my Instagram, please comment below what city either I mentioned or a city that you would like to see from me. I'm planning my trips for this year, and I would love to get suggestions on what you want to see, because I want to make stuff that not just that I want to do, but that fellow readers want to see as well. Now on to the second part of my 2025 year in review, all of my 5-star reads for the year. Did I get them all? Aha! All of our 5-star reads for the year. This is almost all of them. I'm missing one because I'm letting a friend borrow it, but I really don't have a lot of space in my Brooklyn apartment, and so when I keep a book, that means that I really appreciate it, and I want to have it on hand in my personal library to share with fellow readers and friends, because I really am so impacted by the book. So I have 9 books that made it on my 5-star 2025 list, and I'm going to go through them a little bit rapid fire and see if I can explain them succinctly, and try to convince you to read them. First one is Invisible Women. It's going to make you sad, but it's going to make you think. It talks about how research has both purposely and on accident left out women from a lot of research and how that affects everybody. I was angry, I was sad, I laughed. It's a great time. The Fake Mate. If you are slightly interested in Omegaverse, Google that. I'm not going to explain it here. This is what I recommend as the intro into it. It's so cute, fake dating, but with a twist. I'm going to take a long time to talk about this. This is the same book, 2 copies, because I just had to have both. This is Dark Lover. This has become almost my obsession. I've had to take a break because every time I start reading a book, I can do literally nothing else until I finish the book. It is that good. It is set in a fictional town in upstate New York, and it centers around a brotherhood of vampires, and they fight these big bads, which are kind of like zombies, but not really. They're humans that are no longer human. So, but maybe they find love along the way. So yeah, this is book 1. And don't ask me how many books there are. You don't want to know. Just start, and you'll figure it out when you get there. But this series is probably going to be my top life series. I've convinced at least 3 people to start reading it. I probably will start a fan club in 2026. Let me know if you live in New York and you're a fan of the Black Dagger Brotherhood, and I will put together a fan club because I'm obsessed. This book series is so good. And there's it's not just spice, there's actual plot, which is a big deal. So you have to read this book. Okay, just for the summer, it's really hard to have a 5-star romance in my opinion, and this one does it. It is just set in the summer, obviously. Feels like it feels nostalgic reading it. I love the characters. You don't have to read the other books in the series to know what's going on. And I just found the romance really sweet and touching. A Woman Is No Man, told through 3 generations of Palestinian women, but mostly set in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. It was our book club pick for September, and it is such a powerful book. I don't read a lot of contemporary fiction or realistic fiction, and this book really changed my mind about the genre. It was such a powerful read. Vicious. I read this in October, like a spooky read, but you could read it year round. I had to put it down because the characters were so sick and twisted that I was like, maybe they're right. Maybe the bad guys are right. And I feel like that is just some world-class writing, and I can't wait to read the rest of the series. Book 3, I think, is coming out next year. We'll see. Coming out soon. Very good YA read. Lover at Last. If you know, you know. This is in the Black Dagger Brotherhood, and it's book 11. And I was waiting so long for this couple. I was rooting for them for so long, this couple, and they finally figured themselves out, and I cried. Maybe I'll put a photo of me crying. I cried on a plane while I was reading it, and it was so touching, and so good. So good. I think my favorite book of the series. Grape Juice. I joined their Ones membership. This is based in New York, small publisher that posts novellas, romance novellas. This is Haley from the future, realizing I did an absolutely horrendous job explaining this publisher. Didn't even say the full name. It's 831 Stories, based in New York City. They specialize in romance novellas with an interactive element. Anyways, I'll talk more about that book specifically. Okay, bye. This has been my favorite read from them. It's set in the French countryside. It feels like just a a French dream. So poetic. The writing was just transported you. And I think I was in Pittsburgh reading this on a layover. and it did not feel like I was in Pittsburgh. It felt like I was in the French countryside. So good. And my last book, I'll put it here, is Information Age. This was another New York City publisher that I actually purchased this book from them and got it signed. I'm letting my friend borrow it. Another beautiful poetic novella. It just dives into womanhood, being a New Yorker, growing up, becoming a person, finding yourself. Well, on that note, thank you so much for watching. I will be posting every Monday, so if reading, travel, or being bookish is your vibe, make sure you subscribe and follow along, because that's exactly what this channel is going to be about. I'll be sharing my city visits, I'll be sharing the books that I've been reading, different bookstores in New York City and beyond, and so much more. Hope you have a great day. Happy reading!